Okay, so have you ever, wanted to talk to your partner about their Instagram habits?
You mean like how much they're posting or who they're following?
All of it. It's like this weird gray area, right? You want to be supportive and all like their pics, but sometimes it's like, do I really need to see this?
And that's what we're diving into today. It's tricky because social media is literally built for sharing your life online. But what about our relationships?
Exactly. It's about finding that balance. So, to help us out, we've got some expert advice, like actual relationship gurus weighing in, and they gave us 5 tips for setting those all important social media boundaries. But, and this is key, we're not just gonna list them off, we're going deep on why these tips matter.
Yeah, because it's one thing to say talk about your privacy, which is a whole other thing to actually do it.
Totally. So, tip number 1 is all about those privacy preferences.
Hmm.
Why is this such a big deal for couples? What's so hard about this?
Well, because what one person thinks is like a cute, spontaneous selfie might feel like a total invasion of privacy to their partner.
Ooh, yeah. Like when you post a pic from your super romantic getaway, but you forget to, ask if they're cool with everyone knowing where they are.
Exactly. And it's not about being controlling. It's about respect and understanding.
So, how do you actually bring this up without it turning into a huge fight?
Sometimes using the right words can help. Like instead of saying you're oversharing, maybe try framing it as a social media agreement.
Ooh, I like that. Like your partners in this, not adversaries.
Exactly. It's about figuring out what works for both of you. And speaking of oversharing, that brings us to tip number 2, which is, well, don't.
Oh, I'm so guilty of this one, especially in the beginning of a relationship. You just want to shout it from the rooftops? But maybe tone down the gushing online.
A little bit, yeah. Think about it. If you're constantly posting about your amazing relationship, it can make your partner feel pressured to live up to this, perfect image.
Or, like you said, make your partner feel like their feelings aren't being respected. It's almost like you're more invested in showing off the relationship than actually being in the relationship.
It can also take away from the specialness of your moments together
Hmm.
when you're too busy trying to capture the perfect post.
It's like, put the phone down and enjoy the concert.
Exactly. And that actually leads us to the next tip, respecting each other's online space.
Oh, okay. So, this is a big one for me. Is it ever okay to look at your partner's phone?
Honestly, that depends on your relationship and what you've agreed on. But in general, just because you can see everything they're doing online doesn't mean you should. Everyone deserves their privacy, even in a relationship.
It's like having your own little corner of the internet. You don't want someone snooping around in your stuff.
And it goes both ways. It's not cool to demand your partner's passwords or constantly check who they're following. That's just like basic respect.
Okay, I'm seeing a theme here. Communication is key. Why? So, tip number 4 is about setting boundaries for, shall we say, sensitive online behavior. This feels like a minefield.
It can be, yeah. But it's important to talk about things like how much interaction is okay with exes online, or like what you consider flirting and what crosses the line.
Ooh, and the whole liking and commenting on other people's, shall we say, thirst traps?
That's definitely a conversation to have. And again, it all goes back to trust, respect, and those open, honest conversations.
And if something makes you feel uncomfortable, you gotta speak up.
Exactly. Which brings us to our final tip, regular check-ins.
Huh?
Because remember how we said things are always changing online?
Totally. So you can't just have one conversation about boundaries and call it a day. You gotta keep the dialogue open.
Exactly. Because what works for you both today might need adjusting down the line as your relationship grows and evolves.
So it's not about setting rigid rules. It's about being adaptable and understanding that this is a process.
It's about finding what works best for your relationship and for each of you as individuals.
So as you gear up for those important conversations, here's something to think about. How can setting these boundaries actually make your relationship even stronger rather than feel limiting? What new things might you discover about each other when you prioritize your relationship, both online and offline? That's something to think about. Until next time.